Welcome back, everyone, to the Grace Curley Show. I hope your week is off to a good start. Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. BOGO is back for this week only. Buy one Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier and get one free. To order, go to EdenPure.com and put in code word GRACE BOGO. Jared, what is the poll question and what are the results thus far?
Who's the worst anti-Trump Republican? Liz Cheney, Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, or Ben Sass?
I'm going to stick with Mitch McConnell. He's really aggravated me lately.
Mitch climbing up the charts to 17%. Mitt Romney's still in the lead at 71%.
Let's go over these rhinos quickly here because Liz Cheney is really making a name for herself in all the worst ways. I mean, she supported impeachment. Now, a lot of people are saying she was not listening to her, to the people she was supposed to talk to about this, other Republicans, and her constituents, people like that. And then Representative Matt Gaetz, headed down to Wyoming to challenge her, really, and not himself, but to bring to light how a lot of people are feeling about her, which is she's a rhino. And this is what one of her spokespersons shot back at Gaetz, telling the Washington Examiner, Representative Gaetz can leave his beauty bag at home. In Wyoming, the men don't wear makeup. That sounds like a
Whoa.
Microaggression to me.
Oh. So wait, they're saying Matt Gaetz wears makeup?
And they're saying men in Wyoming don't wear makeup?
Wow.
It's offensive.
Such intolerance.
It's offensive no matter how you slice it. Really. The men in Wyoming don't want to be painted with that broad makeup brush. And neither does Matt Gaetz. And it seems very, very mean. And like Jared said, it's not very tolerant of other people.
Kind of out of left field. Like, I've never heard anything about Matt Gaetz wearing makeup. Is that a thing?
I don't know, but what I will say is I think she's definitely feeling the heat. Because a lot of times when you attack somebody for something like that, like how they look or what they choose to do, it is kind of a sign that your back's up against the wall, you're panicking.
Never impeach the president with those bangs, Liz.
It's such a low blow. It's like,
really?
You can fight people. It reminds me of when people used to make fun of Trump's weight. Because I'm like, wait, we have to decide, are we criticizing people for their looks or are we not? Because when Republicans do it, it's very much, put down across the board. People always say, we do not do that. But it was fair game when it was Donald Trump. You could call him orange. You could make fun of Melania and,
his hand size.
And so it's okay for Liz Cheney to make fun of Matt Gaetz now because she has the strange new respect from Democrats. So she's not going to get in trouble for it. So she can just start saying things that are extremely sexist and mean. I don't think so. I'm sensing a double standard here, and I don't like it. But there's a lot of other news as well. I said this in the last segment, but Larry King died over the weekend at the age of 87. He died January 23rd, 2021. And he was 87 years old. He was in poor health for a while. I don't think it was a major shock to a lot of people, but it was still surprising. I mean, for a while, it seemed like he was getting better, and then this happened. Obviously, everybody knows Larry King, Radio Hall of Fame, Larry King Live, I think was the longest running show in the same time slot, like ever. He broke Guinness World Records. He also had a lot of memorable interviews with certain people. I remember the one he had with Jerry Seinfeld, where Jerry was offended that he didn't think Larry did enough prep work and was asking him questions that he felt Larry should have known going into the interview. And just stuff like that. Do you have a favorite Larry King moment, Jared? You look like you're...
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I respect him. Actually, you know what? I do have a favorite Larry King moment.
There we go.
Now that I mention it. He was telling the story. I believe it was to a morning show in Los Angeles when I was there, but he was telling the story of one of his first jobs in radio, where he was sitting basically old school at the board as a DJ,
right.
shack under the transmitter, like really early radio days. And some woman called into the station, and it was kind of familiar. She'd call a lot, and she actually invited him over to her place that night. And so Larry said he thought about it, and so he put on a very long record. And he said he went over there and, spent the evening with her. Mm-hmm. And then he came back in, and the phone was ringing off the hook because the record skipped. and it had been skipping for over 2 hours.
Oh.
And so that was his boss, and that was when he got fired for the first time. I don't know if I have all the details of the story correct, but that's a good Larry King story.
So, Jared, you're on the board right now.
Yes.
Don't get any ideas from Larry King, okay? I don't know why that's your favorite Larry King story of all time.
It's such a inside radio guy story, but it's a good one.
Jared has this little smirk on his face right now. It's like a little grin. Don't get any ideas, Jared. Speaking of media, though, big Super Bowl advertisers are bowing out amid struggle with tone. So every year, everyone gets kind of excited for the Super Bowl commercials. I like them. I used to, when I was in college and we all watched the Super Bowl, no matter who was playing, I mean, you just watched it. It was a reason to get together. I remember I was watching it one year with a bunch of girls that I lived with, and we were all trying to do our homework during it, and we would mute it during the football, and we would unmute it during the commercials because we wanted to hear the commercials, but we didn't want to hear any of the announcers. So I guess a lot of different companies, including like Budweiser, Coca-Cola, a lot of people are just passing this year because they're like, we're not going to, no matter what we do, we're going to upset somebody. And that's the commercials you see today. The ones that bother me the most are the ones that really are celebrating this weird world we're in. Like, oh, these masks, you know, they're bringing us together and the world it's the new normal. I hate that kind of stuff. I'm like, just make the commercial like you normally would. We don't have to know that we're in this on commercials. I don't have to see people in a car with a mask on.
Or Deion Sanders saying, we're going to get through this, baby. Trust me, we're going to get through this. That's an actual commercial. I just don't need that.
We don't need it. And a lot of these companies are saying, I don't think we're going to do this year because we're going to be in trouble no matter what. And based off of how the world is right now, I understand this. They're not sold out yet. They're usually sold out, you know, by Thanksgiving. They're not sold out yet because a lot of these big companies, including Olay, Avocados from Mexico, Little Caesars, and Ford, are saying it was a difficult decision, but we're skipping it this year. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to make a commercial right now. No matter what you do, it could be the best commercial ever. People get mad.
They have successfully destroyed fun.
They really, really have. And we had pretty low expectations for commercials anyway.